I'm here.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, cool. All right, hey, we're here with Matt Watkajtys and Jeff Hodges, and they are launching their Kickstarter campaign today.
IndieGogo.
Oh, IndieGogo, I'm sorry. Sorry. For
IZKARA. So wait, guys, have you launched the campaign yet, or when is it coming?
It's going live at midnight tonight on East Coast time, so it's going to be 9 o'clock Pacific.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
very cool.
That's interesting. Right. Why the midnight release? Are you going to try to create some momentum overnight, or are you guys Nighthawks, or why midnight?
I think it's the midnight choice. I think was mostly for the end of the campaign because we are on IndieGogo, but it's one of those all or nothing campaigns still. So we're trying to raise $99,000 by October 5th, and we figure if it ends at midnight, that's going to give the East Coast people the time to keep at it, and Pacific Coast people will still have time to generate if we're not looking like we're going to hit it.
Mm-hmm. That's good logic. Yeah, I like that.
And right off the bat, we're going to talk about IZKARA. We're going to talk about. We want to hear what you guys have going on here, because it looks like you guys have sort of, you've seen sort of the broken model of distribution for independent filmmaking. It's something you want to address, and we want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Right before we do that, I'm just curious, why IndieGogo over Kickstarter, especially if you're doing an all or nothing campaign?
Yep. Well, one of the reasons why we decided to do IndieGogo is we are going to be working with charities for our campaign, and that actually ties in with in November we're planning on hosting a film festival called the Social Change Film Festival. It's going to be happening in New Orleans. So what you could do is if you couldn't go to New Orleans and see the film festival firsthand, you could log on to IZKARA and watch all those different films on our website. So charities have always been something that Matt and I have really enjoyed. We wanted to loop that into our Kickstarter campaign and get that right into our company right as we started, like right from the get-go. Give back to cool charities that we like and that can actually have a really cool impact in the world.
Yeah, and Kickstarter doesn't play well with charities at all. In fact, any mention of charities, they say we're out.
Yeah.
So we need to switch platforms over to IndieGogo because we're working with TreeCycler, which is a great company that gives you codes that you can eventually put on their website and plant a tree somewhere in the world. Kiva, they deal with microloans for entrepreneurs throughout the world. Charity Water, which drills wells to provide clean water to people all over the world. And we're also working with the Ithaca Motion Picture Project, which is here in Ithaca. And they're trying to build a museum for the Whartons.
Yeah. Ithaca has a really rich silent filmmaking history. I guess back in the 1915, like the early 1900s, like 1915, the Wharton brothers had a big studio where they'd make a bunch of silent filmmaking pictures here locally in Ithaca. So they're trying to build a museum. So when you can donate to our campaign at a certain level, we'll toss them some money too, and we're going to give them a promotion day. We felt like it was really organic to help build history.
Yeah, and originally Hollywood was in Ithaca, and then they moved to Los Angeles to escape patents and also because they have better weather.
Yes, a lot better weather.
Wow. So initially you guys were looking at Kickstarter. So that was the initial game plan. We're doing this on Kickstarter, and then you changed gear to get it over to IndieGogo. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep, and that changeover happened like 2 days ago. We had everything ready to go on Kickstarter, and then we ran into problems, so we switched.
But the cool thing about it is we're still running the same exact campaign that we were going to be doing on Kickstarter, just on IndieGogo. So, I don't know, it's going to be inherently the same project that we're going after.
Wow.
And does this have any tie-in with Fractured Atlas, or you're getting actual charities? It's not you're making this a charitable contribution to your campaign?
No, it's not. It's not dealing with that partnership. Yeah, we're just donating. We're just donating some of the money that we earn in the perks to charities instead. Because we're a film distributor. We only really have T-shirts to send out, or like stickers or stuff no one really wants. So instead of sending that stuff to people, we're giving to other charities. So really, your money goes extraordinarily far with the IZKARA IndieGogo campaign.
And also the cool thing is, if people want T-shirts and other cool merchandising stuff, we have a digital party plan. So we have different giveaways or auctions you can enter in. We have a bunch of talented people who make posters, graphic design work, musical guests that we're going to have. So if you donate on some of those days, you'd have a chance to win T-shirts, or we have these cool IZKARA boxes that have candy and a T-shirt and everything you'd want to get your movie experience going. So we do the kind of fun swag merchandise stuff separately from the perks.
Got it. Now, how long have you been planning this whole release? Like, can you take us back to the first day that you said, you know what, we should do this, and you ran this idea by each other?
Well, actually, that happened way before I ever knew him, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
The IZKARA process started about 6 years ago. And I knew that there are a lot of films that are really great, and it's really hard to watch them. So I figured, okay, that's the problem. And filmmakers don't get paid. So how do we fix this? And at that time, that was before Hulu existed. That was before Netflix Instant was around. So we were thinking of doing streaming film content before anyone else was really doing it.
He calls himself a streaming hipster, basically.
And yeah, so we went through like business model after business model after business model. Had a couple of the partners that worked with me. We split ways over different ideologies and for things not working. About a year and a half ago, I looped Jeff into this entire thing, and we've been working for the past year and a half to get this IZKARA version that we have today ready to go, and now is kind of culmination of all of that work.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, is this a pure passion project? I mean, were you guys able to raise financing to sort of support yourself for the year and a half and get yourselves this far? Was there like a round of investing already, and now you're opening it up on IndieGogo?
Yeah, we've managed to stay afloat, putting our own money into it. We've done traditional family friends reaching out, and that's been enough to keep us going for a year and a half. But we're kicking it out to IndieGogo because we need help from other people to keep it going. And we think it'll be something everybody else wants to be part of. We hope, at least.
Yeah. We've had about $15,000 invested so far.
Oh, cool. And so in this year and a half time that you've really sort of hunkered down with it, how much time per day would you say you're actually spending on perfecting this idea, getting ready for tonight at midnight?
Jeez. It depends on the day.
Yeah, it's fluctuated a lot. I'd say probably at its heyday, we were putting in like a standard workday, I'd say, 7.5, 8 hours, especially because we're watching a lot of screeners for movies, things we're trying to keep an ear to the ground on, reaching out to sales agents, lots of communication, and other things of that nature. I mean, it obviously fluctuates, but yeah, I would say it's like a standard workday, I would guess.
Yeah. You know, I think it's really timely that, you know, here we are connecting. You guys are on the verge or the eve or whatever, on the brink of releasing your own campaign to take yourselves to the next level. Here we are in our shoes, looking at sort of the distribution landscape, being frustrated as filmmakers, not necessarily having a lot of options that really are pleasing to what we want to do. And so here we are. Breaking new ground ourselves, releasing the film directly on IndieGogo. So let's hear more about this idea. Let's hear about, because, you know, I'm just curious how it sort of aligns with some of the frustrations that we've had and what you guys are trying to build and where you guys are trying to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the primary reasons why we got IZKARA going, we're not a subscription platform. We're not looking for all the films that we can get our hands on. We have very, very strict
content standards.
Content standards, yeah. We actually we told United Talent Agency that we weren't interested in one of their films that we watched. So
that was kind of a groundbreaking moment. We get the screener from them and we watch it and we're like, we're gonna have to tell these people no, aren't we? It's weird. And then yeah, it was odd. But no, it's a big part. We don't want to be a content farm. We see lots of distribution companies just taking everything and expecting people to watch all of it as if it was good or worth the time and money, when a lot of times it's not sometimes. I mean, it obviously depends, but we want to have the IZKARA name associated with quality content that's worth time and money for our viewers.
And then even if you get onto a subscription network or you get onto Netflix, if you get onto Netflix because they're not really interested in independence anymore, if you get onto Hulu or any of our other competitors, you're just one of a 500 or so. And I mean, how are people going to even know that you exist? So with a smaller catalog, we can feature films more prominently. We can actually dedicate some marketing effort into all the films that we acquire. And what we acquire, it's a non-exclusive contract. We're all about augmenting releases and not controlling releases. Because ultimately, filmmakers need to get their work out there. And if it's only on, I mean, we were at Tribeca this year, and we were looking at a whole bunch of different films. We made offers on a bunch of them. Some of them got sold. I'm ringing. For you. Thanks. Some of them got sold to smaller distributors, and all of a sudden that film kind of disappears. We were in touch with one sales agent. We were in touch with one sales agent that we wanted to get their film, and they told us that we don't want to deal with online for one specialty doc. If you're interested in getting our entire catalog, you can have it. I'm like, what were we going to do with 150 films? So it's definitely a very weird and scary market, I think, for independents to break into. Mm-hmm. So that's why we kind of decided to go out there and try something new.
Yeah. I mean, so you guys aren't looking to be the home for all independents. You guys are looking to find the very best independents that you can and attract people to the quality of films that you're looking to share.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of what I've personally connected with IZKARA for the past year and a half I've been involved with is, I mean, I'm a huge movie buff. I read and watch movies all the time, and if I'm hearing about a movie that I really want to see but I can't watch it right now, it's frustrating for me. And I guess that's the thing I've really connected with, wanting to get movies from film festivals that are as good as stuff you'd see at your regular Cineplex and get that seen somewhere. And maybe if a lot of people catch on to that, they could go over to a Regal or an AMC or something. It's just being able to watch great content as soon as possible. That's the thing that I've really connected with most about this.
So then, I think from watching some of the videos that you have, part of the $99,000 is going to be toward building the site. I think you said you had to rebuild it because it's in beta right now, and you weren't sure if it could support some of this. So, who's doing that? Are the two of you going to rebuild it, or you have a developer that's coming on board?
Yeah, we're going to be hiring outside developers to go forward with that. We've had our run-ins with independent contractors. We're kind of over the hill with doing freelance people for the time being. We've had some love-hate things go on.
And that's part of the reason why we are looking into redevelopment on the site. We do have a really, really strong base, and that's great, but we had some problems with our last developer. Another story, another day. But he's no longer with us.
You're describing the world of independent filmmaking.
Yeah, whether it's a or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, we hear from so many people that whatever it was, you know, yeah,
so,
it happens.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a startup or making a movie without some of those instances. I mean, it's the unfortunate truth.
Sure, absolutely.
So we have a lot of high concept features that we're going to be adding in that we've already thought out. We've planned out the logic and how these things are going to work. We have recommendation engines that are going to be super cool and deliver content based on your viewing habits and the time of day. So we'll be delivering trailers in the morning when you're watching short form content. We'll be delivering stuff for features later on in the evening. So we have a really great recommendation engine that we're going to be rolling out. We have a rating engine. And these are just things that we need other larger companies to help us build out.
And of your network, whether it be family and friends or people that you went to college with, are you reaching out beforehand and letting them know, like, this is our idea, we plan to launch this? And if so, what does your letter say?
We've basically just been hanging up a lot of our own local contacts. I've done acting a lot for the past couple of years, and I have a very dedicated actors workshop, and we're sending stuff out to them. We have friends who work in local media, like newspapers, radio stations, stuff of that network. So we're getting our local bases covered a lot. And we're also going to be sending out our IZKARA boxes to a number of key influencers and blogs and stuff. So
taking a play out of the interactive marketing world.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
You know, I'm curious with about some of the windows of time and also sort of the library, the catalog. I guess number one, you know, you said you're looking to attract film sort of off of the film festival circuit, or you know, off of the film festival market, or from that world. You know, how soon do do you guys want to get these independent films onto the platform? And then once they're there, is it something where once they're there, they stay there, or is it like a window of time where they're there for like 60 days and they come down? What's the shape of the catalog looking like?
Yeah. Right now we have a really great selection of short films that we have from a sales agent called Short Film Sales, and they've been great. We've also been in contact with pretty much a majority of the sales agents that exist out there. A lot of them are interested, but the problem is with online distribution platforms, there's a lot of risk associated with it, especially when one of our competitors, Prescreen, that did the 60-day window and had $1.2 million backing them, Zeus executives and Groupon executives, and they couldn't make it work. So now we're trying to sell a platform to sales agents, and they're like, well, they had $1.2 million. They didn't work, and I mean, what are you guys going to do? So we've been hitting a wall with sales agents. People are interested. They're waiting on us to be operational. So during the campaign, we're going to be working on extending our catalog substantially, re-hitting up all of the sales agents that we've been in contact with, and starting the review process yet again.
But in terms of how long the movie will stay on our platform, we work hand in hand with our filmmakers on a time they feel would be most reasonable for them to stay on our platform. We can extend it to however little or however much they want it to be on, and it's always flexible if they get picked up by another distribution company, because we're doing non-exclusives, so we're saying, no, you're more than welcome to go ahead and go with a bigger company. The only thing is we just remove it from the sales floor, and the people who had purchased that movie would still be able to watch it.
No, just no more future sales will continue.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because you must have been reading my mind. I was about to bring up Prescreen, and they had beautiful movies on there. And one thing that there was some up in the air about was the $8 price point after a certain amount of time. Do you have a designated price point, or will it vary for various movies, shorts versus features?
We do have a different price point for our shorts versus our features. It also depends on our rental versus a purchase. We're going to be rolling out a rental service in conjunction with purchases right now. Our rentals are going to hover somewhere between $6, $7 for a feature. Somewhere like we use it kind of like a barometer of like a movie ticket for like a rental, and then when you purchase it, it would be a little bit higher than a movie ticket, but a little bit less than a DVD.
Got it. Okay.
Because essentially we want to have that like DVD collection type thing in the cloud is what we're going for.
And will that price be sort of fixed, or because with Prescreen, I think it was the first whatever few days you could get it for less, and then once that point was gone, it was then $8.
The only time that we're going to be fluctuating prices is during some of our daily deals, like Steam, the gaming clients. They have daily deals all the time. They do different sales. The one thing that we do have in our contracts is the ability to change pricing at any time. So we could just roll out a deal to see if we could bump sales for somebody. Like on low traffic days, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday or something, we could have a deal for a film and try to get more traffic generated to that one, or push our short films a little bit more. It's really flexible. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah.
And do you have any projections in terms of how large the library will grow? I mean, is it something where you want to keep it down? Because you said you don't want to say take everything, but how much content are users gonna, when they come to the site? How much content can we expect to find?
Well, it pretty much depends. We're going to keep building our catalog with as many great films as we could find. And we've been kind of toying with an idea of trying to figure out an end-to-end solution for filmmakers to help monetize their films using our players and our paywalls, so that they can, it won't be a part of the main IZKARA collection, the curated collection, but we are kind of toying with an idea of eventually rolling out an end-to-end solution for filmmakers such as yourself to do self-distribution. I know other platforms like Dynamo exist and stuff, but with our content providers, we're using some of the best online delivery networks that exist. Akamai is our biggest content delivery network. Uyala does all of our video transcoding, so each film is transcoded 7 times right now. We're going to be bumping that up to about 9, 10 times as we start rolling out more high-definition stuff. So you're really not going to find a better player or a better solution. But we're still trying to figure out the logistics behind an end-to-end solution. But it's something that we're definitely considering. And during our IndieGogo campaign, we will be interested in hearing from other filmmakers on like what they're looking for with an end-to-end solution, because we do want to make the process easier. And there should be, I mean, self-distribution is kind of hard because you have it on your website, but then it's your website. You need to push people to your website. And with IZKARA, we're trying to make a centralized location for people to go to see really great content and to be able to access a lot of stuff. So it becomes a centralized hub that people can go to find additional content instead of people starting to embed streams on their own sites. If we do roll out an end-to-end solution, you will be able to embed wherever you want. But I mean, that's still on the burner for a couple months down the line.
You know, I hate to ask the question, but I feel like I have to. You know, looking at pre-screen, you know, looking at that they had to sort of close down their doors for now. They've kind of left it open, but we don't know if it's going to come back or not. When you guys look at pre-screen and look at the resources that they had available to them and them not being able to make it work, where did they go wrong in your eyes, and what are you guys doing that gives you confidence moving forward with IZKARA?
I think a main thing with pre-screen was kind of the content farm thing that we were talking about earlier. I mean, if you are wanting to build a successful distribution company, I guess I would liken it to something like recently Film District is a company that I've associated with really cool movies that have been released lately. They did like Drive, like Rum Diary, they're doing Looper this month in September. It's associating that name with that quality content. So when you see like IZKARA or our name, then you're going to be like, oh, like I know that I'm going to get something at least really intriguing. Yeah. And I think they had some design stuff that was a little like left a little bit to be desired, and also their updates for letting you know about movies is something that I think
the only way that's exactly what I was going to say. They did a very similar idea to Groupon where they send you a new film every day, but then they started running out of films. So they started sending you trailers for films that you didn't have. So now you're watching film or trailers for films that are in theaters and will never be on pre-screen. Because when we saw actually it was right around Sundance time, I think, they started being like, oh yeah, these are all the Sundance films. We're like, how the hell did pre-screen get all the Sundance
And then you go on, it's like, oh, they have the trailers for the Sundance movies.
Yeah, so they were trying to do that daily deal thing. It was going to my spam inbox. They had a lot of trailers, not a lot of films. And then ultimately, I'm just going to come out and say it, like some of the titles weren't really that great. We watched a lot of screeners after pre-screen went away, and there were very few of them that we were really interested in.
Or be even comfortable having on our service.
Yeah. So it was definitely one of those things where, do you have content that people want to buy? Do you have content that you feel comfortable selling to people? And that's a very serious question for us, and one that we're always going to be. What's the word I'm looking for? That it's just a concept that we're really always going to embrace. Like when we look at each film, can we sell this? And when we say can we sell this, we're not talking about does it have name actors or is it a 4-quadrant film? Because those are the big Hollywood movies, and we're not interested in that. There are a bunch of people that want new, unique, interesting content, and it's really hard to find that. So for us, when it comes down to can we sell this, it's more of a, is it shot well? Is the sound good? Like, is the story interesting? Are you avoiding a lot of the independent cliches? Because I think, unfortunately, the world of independent film has kind of gotten a negative connotation when you inject independent, because, I mean, there are 50,000 films produced each year. How many of those are actually worth watching? So we're trying to definitely change the thought process behind independent releases to get people looking at it like, oh, you know what? Because this was produced outside of the studio system, it's going to have a story they haven't seen before. And it's going to be, it's a good film. It just doesn't have the name actors. So we're trying to fill in that left out area.
Yeah, I tell you, I think you guys are in for a good fight. And basically our perspective is with Karen and I. We hosted we're not just filmmakers. We don't just do film courage. We don't just all that stuff. We also spent 2 years distributing films. We hosted a monthly screening series here in Los Angeles, and one of the troubles we found ourselves in is, certainly we can all identify films that are moving, that affect us, that are wonderful, that have all those things we want, and we found from our shoes, like, it's really hard to get access to those films because they're already tied up sort of with their own distribution path, so it's like, it's one thing to say, like, we're going to have great content and identify it and say, yeah, this is it, this is what we want to have. It's a whole other animal to actually, have them trust in you. And in our case, like, want to screen with us. We weren't in a position where we could get sort of the Sundance films we wanted, or these other like films would be like, yeah, it'd be great to screen this and show this. But there's a lot of films that were like, damn, we wish we could do it. And it got to be really frustrating on our end because there were certain films that we wanted to screen and we couldn't get at. There's just no way it's going to happen. They're not going to screen at like some monthly screening series when they have a chance at Sundance and they have a chance at other things. And so you guys are getting ready to fight the same battle. You guys are going to be fighting off Netflix and iTunes and all these reputable platforms, and that's the fight you guys have to put in. How do you guys respond to what I'm saying here?
I guess I would respond by saying that I hope people would latch on to our passion, enthusiasm, and just the fact that we've gotten this far ourselves as essentially recent college graduates on $15,000 that we've spent, and we're still pushing forward. I mean, one of the things we always talk about internally is all the stuff that's happened, good and bad, internally with us, is we've always persevered and pushed on. And it's because inherently Matt and I love film, and we love movie making, and we want to get these things seen. And I think it's just a matter of time until filmmakers or sales agents and audiences catch on to the fact that we have that passion. And I think it's something that it's kind of like an X factor, I think, in anything in life, whether you're doing a business or you're just going on your day-to-day. I think there's that inherent X factor with passion and the love for movies that we have.
And we've definitely tried to streamline the entire process.
Yep.
I mean, you could go from making an account to getting a high-definition stream in less than 30 seconds. And that stream is already mobile optimized. When you buy the content, it's yours forever. It's not just one of those one-off deals. We're really trying to make the experience as cool as we possibly can make it. And we've been fighting sales agents. We were in negotiation for a film for about 6 months. And then they were like, okay, we sent over the contracts. They were like, this looks great. You can't have North America. I was like, what do you mean? We were discussing this from the very beginning when we started searching, we started going for your film when it was in Sundance. And now you're telling us that you can't sell it in North America and we're a North American distributor? Like, you wasted 6 months of our time. And then there are a lot of other agents that just aren't interested in selling their clients films. So it's definitely something that we're going to be fighting for a while until we get to the point where we are an actual legitimate distributor.
Yeah, I think it's the passion tied up with a lot of the technical stuff we're putting into it. We have a lot of good ideas that are built upon our love for filmmaking.
I'm wondering, too, how do you plan to get people to go to your site? Because you said you don't want it to be where there's an embeddable player for these filmmakers. You want to have them come to your site. What are you planning to do to draw traffic to your site?
We actually, the only reason why we don't have embeddable players is because it's hard for a paywall solution to follow that embed. And then it's also hard to make sure that embed is safe because piracy is an issue. And it's an issue that sales agents have, like, okay, you're online, how is it going to be safe? Well, we have, each stream that we have is encrypted. A big thing that we've been saying to sales agents is we do have digital rights management, and it's very restrictive, but very transparent. It's kind of the same way that Steam is organized, and that's the place that you can go and buy a video game, play it on your computer, and then if you have another computer, as long as you have that Steam account linked in, you could watch it on that computer too, or play it on that computer as well. Mm-hmm. And everyone says, oh, this is great because there's no DRM. But there's all the DRM. You can't be off of that platform and watch the film. So it's really safe for the end distributors, it's safe for the publishers, and it's a great experience for the end user, which is something that we're definitely going for too. And I do have a lot of friends that work in marketing that have been helping us out. I was interning at Warner Brothers in their interactive marketing department for a while back in 2010, so I've seen how the Hollywood pictures do it. So we have a bunch of ideas of our own that we'll be rolling out. We actually have a marketing budget to play with. So let's run off.
Oops.
Yeah, our lights are motion censored here. Let me...
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, they're on motion sensors, so they'll turn back on. There we go.
Cool. Oh, I like that.
No, but yeah, but we have lots of cool marketing PR stuff we have lined up, like the interactive marketing I was talking about. Obviously, being on IndieGogo will be a great way to get people to know the IZKARA name. We are working with, we signed up with Vocus. Vocus is going to be a good thing for us to use in terms of hitting social media stuff.
PR releases out.
Yeah.
Sorry, we just watched a cat try to scale a wall and then he fell.
Oh, that's okay.
No, sorry. Yeah, so in terms of the campaign itself, it's how many days?
Ends October 5th.
So it's going from 35, I think.
35-ish?
I think it's 35. Yeah, we counted it the other. We know it goes from tonight at midnight to October 5th. So it's like a Friday to Friday, basically.
Okay. And then do you have a game plan in terms of what you're going to do every day? Do you have...
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been spending a long time organizing the calendar, making sure we have like either hangouts or talks or releasing a video or having a live performance, doing a giveaway, an auction. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned, so we hope people will donate and get to check it out because it's going to be fun.
Yeah. You know, I want to come back to sort of, you know, and if you guys, I know you guys have a short window of time here, and so, you know, we still have a lot of questions, but if you guys...
We're just going to another screening. It's just like an outdoor fun function where they're screening a silent film.
Yeah,
We're probably going to be late to it anyway, so we got as much time as you.
Yeah. It's our the Ithaca Motion Picture Project is doing an outdoor screening of silent films tonight, so we're going to go and support them there. It's going to be really cool.
Oh, are you going to announce the information about the campaign? Or?
Yeah, we're bringing business cards with us. We're going to be talking with some of the people there and letting them know about the partnership. So that'll be a fun event for us.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
But, so, yeah, while we have you, I would just like to hear if you guys can maybe highlight some more of the benefits for filmmakers, because I know you guys, you know, part of what you guys believe in is putting filmmakers first and treating them right. I believe part of what you guys are doing is you know, you guys don't take any money up front. As money comes in, then money goes to the filmmaker. Can you talk just more about the benefits you guys have going for filmmakers?
Yeah, I think it's the fair revenue splits that we have, and we can do that because we're a pay-per-view model as opposed to subscription-based. So filmmakers get paid what they're actually getting for views, as opposed to something like Netflix, where you get like a $3,000 deal to be in there for a year, and it doesn't matter if one person watches it or 10 million people watch it, they still get that $3,000. So we think it's fair for the filmmaker to get their cut of however many views they get.
And here our revenue splits are in line with our industry partners. For rentals, it's 70-30, same thing that all the rest of the platforms have. But the one thing that kind of sets us...
Sorry, Matt. The connection as you were giving the numbers. So it sounded like you were getting ready to say 70%. Is that right?
Yep, 70-30, leaning filmmaker. And the really cool part about that is we don't have any upfront fees. We actually pay sometimes, if necessary, to get the copy of the film to us. But the filmmaker doesn't actually get any... they're not charged for anything.
Yep.
So we stand to lose money on some of the films that we acquire. But the way that we have our system set up, we can either do it the traditional route, which some of our sales agents like better for some reason, where we have all of the line items that are taken out from the top sales. So if we've spent, let's say, I don't know, $2,000 marketing your film, doing all the transcode, doing delivery, all of that stuff, then your film needs to sell $2,000 worth of sales before you start making money. But one of the systems that we have is we take off a percentage from the top from each sale, and that's generally between like 15–20%. So filmmakers are getting money from sale number one, and we are recouping our expenses as people are buying. So it kind of works out really well for us, really well for our content providers, and we think that's going to be a really cool new system to do distribution. So now you don't have to see that really complicated earnings report where your film is going to lose money, and it's guaranteed your film is going to lose money. So now you're actually making money from sale number one.
I mean, so just to further clarify, so that means from sale number one, you're not necessarily getting, the filmmaker's not getting 70% total, I guess, off the first sale. Like maybe they're getting whatever, 55%, and then over time, then it works itself back to 70%.
Basically what happens is if the filmmaker has their film, 20%, 15, 20% is taken off the top of that sale price. So it's $5, we take 20% to cover our line items. And then from there, it's 70-30. So it's a 70-30 net deal, not a gross deal. And that way, the filmmaker gets paid their share of that 70% after expenses have been covered, and then we take what's left. And that means this filmmaker is actually walking away having made money on their first sale.
No, thank you for being so transparent with what you guys have, you know, the percentage. I mean, you know, that's great to hear. You know, sometimes I know with pre-screen it was sort of harder to get at the numbers. You had to really get into the fine print to get an understanding of just like what are the deals.
Yeah.
So no, that's great to hear. And I know I know a lot of people are going to wonder, since this is a platform you're building, and obviously you guys are looking to put great content on there. What are some of the additional things that you guys are doing in terms of marketing, in terms of promotion, that's going to draw interest? You know, how are you guys marketing the platform as well as the films?
Yep. It's a multi-tiered strategy. Obviously, the IndieGogo campaign, as much as we need it for funding, it's also to get the IZKARA name out there into the community. And then from there, we're going to start doing ad buys for each individual title, depending on who that title might be applicable to. So we're going to be doing on a per title level as well as a platform level marketing. But really, what we're thinking of doing is just marketing each title individually, because that's what's going to drive the traffic to us initially, not our name. It's going to be our content.
And the other cool thing is, if the filmmakers are willing, we more than want to put them front and center and say, you know, this is your movie, you made this. I mean, when I watch a movie, I kind of consider it as like a point of view thing. I'm watching someone else's point of view into your life experience. So I think a lot of film people would like to be like, okay, who's the director of this movie? Who made this? Why did they make it? We were more than willing to work with our directors and filmmakers to, you know, feature them, give them interviews, provide special features in conjunction with the movie. So after you watch it, you can watch an interview with them and the cast and be like, okay, you know, what were some of the hard things that you experienced making this movie, or what was your intention behind this? So working and actually getting a relationship built internally with our filmmakers, I think, would be a great attraction for film lovers, which I think, you know, I guess I always use myself as a standard, because, I mean, if you look over here off screen, I have a huge shelf of DVDs, and I think, and then like I watch special features, commentaries, so I want to have that built into our IZKARA experience also.
Yeah, you know, what I like about talking to you guys, you know, over the past however long it's been, you know, I like that it sounds like you guys have some fight in you guys. You know, I like hearing your passion, and I like hearing, because you don't necessarily hear a lot of platforms say like, look, we're going to put in the fight with you. So I think that's just really, it's really nice to hear.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you have planned it out and you have thought about a lot of different details, and it's not just, you know, just it sounds like a great idea and not thinking it through. And I'm sorry, did you say before why you were doing the all or nothing version of IndieGogo? Did I miss that?
Oh yeah, well we're doing all or nothing for $99,000 because that's really what we need to keep going. I mean, anything less would be cheapening the experience for our users. It's out of a necessity, and so we want to, because we've heard of other campaigns going for smaller amounts and then going to another campaign, and people are like, well, wait, we just gave you $50,000. Why do you need another 40? So we want to do the all or nothing, make it what it is, acknowledge that we're in that position, and we hope people will respond to that. And we think they can and will.
Does your fight end if the campaign comes up short?
No, we have lots of other plans for cool things. That's always the thing Matt and I have talked about. We have really interesting plans for. I mean, we're not going to divulge everything right now, but we do have other methods we can go. It's very malleable.
And I mean, we're hosting Social Change Film Festival in November, regardless of what happens. We're their primary technical sponsor. We're super excited to be working with them. And we think we're going to be hosting their festival come November, whether we make that funding goal or not.
Yep.
So if we don't hit our IndieGogo mark, it might tell us that, hey, you know what? Filmmakers and audience people aren't really interested in a platform where they can watch independent titles. And then we go back to the drawing board and try and figure something else out. Because at IZKARA, we have something that we're really proud of called IZKARA Apps, which is kind of like Google's version of the 20% of your work time. You can do whatever the hell you want. So our employees can just think of really cool stuff, and if we all like it internally, we build it. And whether that's a social network or a cool mobile app, we're still working on stuff. So we're going to have something regardless of whether we make our funding or not. But if you want the IZKARA experience, that IZKARA platform for video rental, we're going to need to hit that mark.
Yep.
And taking time into consideration here, I mean, do you guys have any questions for us? I mean, I know you guys have been monitoring our release on IndieGogo of Goodbye Promise. You know, so
today.
Yeah. We just got our copy today, and once we get past the initial IndieGogo hubbub of starting it up, we're definitely going to give it a watch. So we're excited.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah,
no, I know you guys have a lot on your plate right now. So thank you, though.
Yeah, no problem.
So what brought you
with respect? It's for you to like watch the film before you release.
Yeah, no.
So what brought you to IndieGogo? Why didn't you? What was wrong with the distributors out there?
You know, from our perspective, you know, we have a small film that you know, I mean, obviously we have limited resources. We've had limited money all along. You know, so this is a small film that we shot with no money, and that we crowdfunded to cover a lot of the post-production expenses. But even with that, there's still money that you still have to put in from your own pocket to get it all the way done. And there's still even some stuff now, even though it's released and people are watching it, there's still some stuff that we'd love to be able to fix. But it just gets to a point where you just don't have the time, the money, and you just have to say, okay, this is what we have, and so let's go with it. So there's certainly that. And as you know, and this is not our first film. This is our second feature, and so. You know, the thing that was frustrating for us is taking our first film to film festivals, and we did a bunch of one-off screenings in different cities, and it's like we put all this energy promoting it, and it just got to a point where as people were learning of the film and wanted to share it, it just wasn't available. So, you know, we started getting in our heads like, you know, when we get around to releasing Goodbye Promise, you know, we just like to just have it so that it's instantly available for anybody, really, you know. And so we started thinking about like how could we make it available to everybody in the world all at once. You know, is there a way that people can just instantly access it so that if they do like it, they'll be in a position to share it. Then you also look at, you know, so that's sort of some thinking there. Some other thinking is like so much promotion and excitement and fun is happening on the funding side of things. You know, you guys have already alluded to it, that you're not just going after money with your release on IndieGogo. You're also looking to sort of get your name out there. It puts you in a position to do press, to talk about what you're doing, talk about your idea, and sort of maybe attract as many believers to your platform as possible. So funding has that now, and somehow in the distribution process, it's lost. It's like it's not really exciting to come across independent films. Or I don't know, there's not the same excitement exist. You know, yeah, you can watch on iTunes, you can watch on Netflix, you can watch on VOD. It doesn't have that same exciting component that crowdfunding has. So, you know, so we're looking at that. You know, and we don't necessarily want to release it directly on our own website because it's really hard to drive traffic you know, somewhere on the internet. It's really difficult.
Yeah.
So we wanted to be on a platform where that was already an existing discovery platform that had eyeballs and sort of, you know, hopefully, you know, it doesn't mean that we're getting a lot, but we wanted to get some of those eyeballs onto our film that way.
Yeah, and not only that, if we did get a traditional distribution deal and we needed like errors and omission insurance and all these different things, it would just put us more sort of in the hole. And we pretty much spent, you know, we had extra costs outside of the crowdfunding, but luckily it's not substantial. So it's just like this is more of an easier way to kind of guarantee that somebody sees it and then actually be more in the black instead of the red, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny that you guys were mentioning that there's so much excitement on crowdfunding, and the entire community comes together when somebody's like, hey, we're at the last couple of minutes, I really want to make this project, but when the project finally comes out,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like many people care anymore. And it's like, it's like now we've built the product, we've got the money, we've done everything, now it's ready to be watched, and I don't have an answer to why that occurs.
Yeah.
Because it's as perplexing to us as it is for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, and that's where, you know, we believe in the power of the scoreboard, essentially. You know, what crowdfunding has is it has that transparency. And so, you know, what we've seen for years now, you know, there's this sort of like, you know, like just as a regular sort of movie fan, movie goer, it's like you go to the film's website, you go there once, you see the trailer, you see the website, oh, this is cool. You know, you look through the cast and crew, and maybe they have some extras there. And then you leave, and really, there's no reason to return back to that website. Like, why go back to the film's website? You know, and so.
Well, the content doesn't usually change.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
be exactly the same.
Unless the filmmaker has a blog or they're talking about their experience or something. Yeah, it's it's going to be the same content there.
Yeah. There's nothing there. You know, and what crowdfunding has is it has, you know, if you can gain momentum and if you can put the work in and if you can sort of move that needle forward, you have the ticking clock on one hand that's going down and down and down, and then you have sort of this other number, this funding goal that hopefully is going up and up and up. So it's like if you can get to a point where people check in with you, it doesn't matter if you have $1 or whatever. If you can just start getting people on board and people see the scoreboard, and then they go away, and then if they come back, and if that number has gone up in your favor, and that time's going down, it starts to get emotional, you know. So now you start to get this emotional investment from the audience, and yeah, it's just exciting, you know. It's just much more exciting, and right now that's lacking in the world of distribution. There's nothing, you know. So it's like distribution is going to have to change, and it's going to have to start using some of these kind of techniques of transparency. To really push it to the next level, because right now it lacks transparency. People don't want to be straightforward about what the numbers are, and so me as an audience member, I can't get invested in it. You know, there's nothing. It's just like, yeah, I get to watch a movie. Well, I have a billion movies I can watch right now. You know, there's nothing exciting about it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you were saying that's a really good point, Matt, about, you know, how once the movie actually comes out, there's kind of this ho-hum response, and it is an interesting sort of look. I mean, it's similar to like an IPO. When it comes out, everyone's like, "Oh, what's it at now?" You know, the first day it opens, like, the opening bell rings, and everyone's so excited. But then, you know, and it's the thing where we all want to be part of this process and watch it kind of go up and up and up. But you're right. Then once it's done, and it is a fascinating thing. And I think people kind of live vicariously through somebody else's campaign and think, "Oh, wow, how cool! Now they get to do this. They get to live this sort of dream." And it is an interesting fact, but.
Yeah, no, I think that's great, and it sort of triggers this other idea. And you know, we just got off the line with another filmmaker, Blaine Weaver, and he talked about, you know, he loves the theatrical experience because he loves experiencing it with people, you know, where there's like this direct connection. And that's another thing we don't see in distribution is we don't see the social component of it, you know, and something that you get on a platform like IndieGogo is you can see that other people are getting behind this film. You know, there's the transparency of like, oh, this many people are supporting this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just like that's a social component that makes it more exciting, that you're not alone, that you're not the only one that supports this. And so that's where we believe so strongly in the power of transparency. And, you know, I don't know if what we're saying, I don't know if that somehow translates or you know, you guys can, because we don't necessarily want to build a platform, you know, but if we can share some ideas with guys like you that have the passion, that do want to build a platform, this is what
I would love to hear from people.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of carryover. I mean, one of the things Matt and I have always talked about is filmmaking inherently is a very communal thing. I mean, when you make a movie, you're asking favors from friends, families, lots of people. I mean, starting a business is very much the same thing.
I mean, hell, look at the 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
Thing. That was I've never seen my Twitter account that active.
Yeah, and the cool thing that I think crowdfunding allows for is the same thing that filmmaking is. It's an inherently communal thing where you are working with not just yourself but other people. And one of the things we're wanting to see, and I would be interested to see your thoughts on this, is we're wanting to have more of an open relationship between distribution companies and filmmakers. Where would you guys stand on that?
I just think it's a logistics issue, you know. Like when I immediately hear the idea, I just, because at this point in time, you guys are a really small team, and so depending on how many films you're able to sort of bring into the library, into the catalog, it's just going to get to a point where you only have so much time you can allocate to each individual film, and each, we certainly know from the number of independent filmmakers we've spoken to over the years that we all have our own ego, and we especially have our ego when it comes to our work. So I think navigating that it's really it's its own job, and it's a sort of logistics thing. I think it's I think it's a wonderful idea to have. Maybe some quick thoughts there.
Well, I mean, we're definitely trying to make distribution fun.
Yes.
Again. And that's actually part of the reason why we're doing this crowdfunding thing, because we could have gone to venture capitalists.
Yep.
I know a lot of people who are well connected in Silicon Valley, and I know people with money. But do we want to have a board to answer to, or do we want our shareholders and our stakeholders to be our audience and our filmmakers? Because then we can do whatever we want.
Yep.
And a part of the IndieGogo campaign, we do want to start conversations. Like, what does it take to get people interested now in watching films? What does it take to start that conversation, to start people sharing, to be like, hey, check out this really awesome film? Like with Goodbye Promise. You guys are on IndieGogo. And I haven't seen as much activity as I would like to see from all of the filmmakers that I follow on Twitter. I mean, in my opinion, it's really awesome. Frankly, you guys are doing something that is truly revolutionary, and I think that is going to be something that will be copied, and people are going to start looking to release films that way. And we have this really revolutionary system now that you guys are doing, and the conversation around that isn't really what I think anybody was expecting. It's not as prolific as I think anyone wants it to be. And it's just one of those questions on how do we fix that system? How do we get people involved? How do we get people engaged with the final product as opposed to trying to raise money for a product?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great. I love it. I love it. I think, when IndieGogo and Kickstarter started on the funding side of things, when they started as crowdfunding platforms, it's taken them a while to sort of build up steam, to build up the user base. And honestly, I think we'd have a lot more success, right? Currently in terms of the number of people, I think we would have had a higher number to date had we gone on Kickstarter, But at the same time, we didn't want the risk to be so great where it's literally all or nothing. So we didn't want that. And honestly, Kickstarter is just a superior platform over IndieGogo. IndieGogo. They've been great to us, and they're giving us this opportunity, and we can sing their praises for days. We still believe this is the best platform, at least for us, that exists, and we have no regrets about the decision whatsoever. But they're going to have to grow as a platform in a lot of ways, not just for what we're doing, but just in general. There's just a lot of things that they need to get up to speed on that it's just not there yet. So I think we're hurt by that. In our case, also. We took a week off of our own campaign. You mentioned Jack Marchetti. We just really believe in his story. We believe in that of him making his film, and so we took a week off of our own efforts to try to get behind that and try to push it as far as we could. And obviously, you guys seeing that, we had an impact. We didn't get all the way there, but we had an impact.
But I think it's interesting that you guys bring that up. And we weren't sure in the beginning how it was going to be perceived, and I think it's a couple things. I think people are kind of watching and waiting and seeing, you know. And then also too, some people might, like you said, want to jump on and do it themselves. So it's an interesting thing. I can't explain it either, but we've just got to keep going. And like I said, it's almost a social experiment. That's why my new word for it's a social experiment. But in some sense, it is, you know. And if we fail at it, fine. I mean, do we expect to raise $1 million? No. But that's why we went also with IndieGogo, knowing that it would never get to that point.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we realize the risk at stake. You know, and you know, this is breaking new ground. And we just felt like someone was going to do it sooner or later. We decided, you know, we're willing to take that risk. We're willing to sort of dive out into the abyss and just let it go and put our own effort behind it. You know, and so. You know, we're excited to do that. We're excited for the opportunity. We believe it is heading this way. I think you know, we think it's a great way for small films that maybe will, you know, get a lot of closed doors, you know, going other traditional ways. We think this is a new sort of freeing way to do it, but it's brand new, so we have to kind of like, you know, there's so much more legwork that we have to put into it, and hopefully to get to a point if more people do this sort of thing, and it'll evolve and it'll become something people become more familiar with, and you'll see people rally earlier. You know, yeah.
And somebody with a much bigger audience will probably do an incredible job with it, with little money on the line, except for what they would owe to IndieGogo. So.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys pretty much, from the sounds of it, accidentally did one of those pay what you want things that Humble Indie Bundle does for video games. And they just got into trying that out for music, too, where they would collect a bunch of things and you could pay what you want, whether it's a penny or a couple $1,000s, which people have done. So I think you guys kind of accidentally stumbled on the pay what you want system for film, which, to my knowledge, hasn't really been done before.
You know, really, you know, a lot of the idea was sort of in my head, and then as I began to share it with Karen, we just sort of went back and forth in terms of what it should be. I was really insistent on having $1 price point to offer the film at that level, and I was pretty much fine with that. You know, Karen really pushed for a higher pay scale, and so, you know, what you see in terms of when you go to our campaign, you see we have the $1. The first 100 people that are sort of the so-called early birds get it for $1, and then the $2 standard contribution. That's just basically Karen and I going back and forth, and you know, we certainly did not expect. You know, we did not expect the higher contribution level. You know,
really been awesome.
So, you know, we thought maybe we could be at around $1,500 the way we are right now. We thought we'd be there, but we thought we'd have 1,500 people to go with it. You know, we didn't think that we'd have, you know, whatever it is, 200 and something people, and then be at the dollar amount we are now. It's really been a really pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it's been really nice.
No, it's definitely awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, we wish we're definitely going to be pushing you guys as well when you are finishing up your campaign. And I really, truly believe that you guys are doing something that is going to be revolutionary. I mean, the direct-to-consumer sales is going to be something that I think is really going to start taking off. And we're really lucky to be living at a time where we're on the cusp now of something that is similar to Hollywood films going from silent era movie making to talkies.
Yeah.
The online era is going to be something revolutionary. And it's just a matter of time before we all know how it's going to work. And it's just people like you that are trying new systems, and it might not work for others, but people are trying new things, and that's a really awesome.
Something's going to stick. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, thank you.
No, thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. You know, I mean, if you look at it, this is where the studios are trying to get to. You know, they're trying to get to a point where, you know, after the theatrical run, you know, or maybe even like during the theatrical run, they want to immediately be everywhere. But it's because of the ongoing struggle they have with the theater chains that they're not able to do that, and maybe some of the other platforms, just some of the way they have to roll out their film in a certain way. But, you know, we as independents, we as small films, we don't have to play by those rules. You know, a lot of filmmakers still do. A lot of filmmakers still look at it that traditional way. We just knew our best path was just try to be quick, try to be agile, just go right to the people, do it now. while we can, and just put our heart, our passion, our work into it, and just see what happens. So, you know, we still have 12 days left. 12 days left to push this all the way and see.
12 days is a lot of time.
Yes.
It's true. It's very true. So, awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I think
we know you guys have to get to. I mean, has it started already? This screening?
Yeah.
It looks like.
Yeah. Knowing, like, I don't know, we'll be good. It's all.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Dry stick. Okay.
no, we thank you guys.
Yeah,
we
thank
thank
you.
you guys. So we're wishing
It was great chatting with you guys.
Thank you guys for having us. It really means a lot.
So then you're gonna come back and then you're gonna launch the campaign. Is that right? So you're ready to go. And...
Yep. We're gonna come back and launch this thing at midnight and
pop open a bottle of wine.
Yes.
Right.
Beer to,
celebrate it.
You
put it
gonna
online and see what happens.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna film it just as the launching of just in case whatever happens and you need archival footage and
Well, let's do it.
You know what? Might as well. We have cameras. We have computers. We never thought of it. Actually, no. We're going to take that. Actually, and hopefully you're cool with us taking your idea. So.
No, absolutely. And then once you guys have it, we'll embed the video underneath this interview once we put it on our site. So.
Awesome.
Sick.
All right.
All right. Well, have fun, guys, and good luck tonight.
Yeah, get ready for the good
Yes,
fight.
Aaron, thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Good luck, guys.
Yes, good
All
luck.
right. We'll see you. We'll see you on Twitter.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Okay. Take care, guys.
See ya.